प्रभुपाद की। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की। नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada की जय। Hare Krishna. So welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Canto 4, Chapter 19, King Prithu's 100 horse sacrifices, and verse 27 and 28. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 27. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vadabhisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekchayamasayam Ramhasam Nivarayam Asur Aho Mahamate Nayujjate Tranya Vada Prachodhitat. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vada Bisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekshayam Ramhasam Nivarayam Asuraho Mahamate Nayujjate Tranya Vada Prachodhitat. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vada Bisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekshayam Ramhasam Nivarayam Asuraho Mahamate Nayujjate Tranya Vada Prachodhitat. Prabhuji. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vada Bisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekshayam Vansitam Nivarayam Asuraho Mahamate Nayujjate Tranya Vada Prachodhita. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vada Bisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekshayam Ramhasam Nivarayam Asuraho Mahamate Nayujjate Tranya Vada Prachodhita. Tam Ritvija Sakra Vada Bisanditam Vichaksha Dusprekshayam Vanhasam Nivarayam Asuraho Mahamate न युज्यते त्राण्यपदा प्रचोदितात्. Mataji. Tamritvijasakravaदाभिसन्दितम् विचक्ष्य दुष्प्रेक्षयमसहाय रंहसम् निवारयमासुरहो महामते न युज्यते त्राण्यपदा प्रचोदितात्. नारुत्विजासक्रवदाभिसन्दितम् विचक्ष्य दुष्प्रेक्षयमसाय रंहसम् निवारयमासुरं महामते न युज्यते त्राण्यपदा प्रचोदितात्. Okay, word to word meaning. Tam, King Prithu, Ritvija, the priests, Sakravada, killing the king of heaven, Abhisanditam, thus preparing himself, Vichakshaya, having observed, Dusprekshayam, terrible to look at, Asahaya, unbearable, Ramhasam, whose velocity, Nivarayam Asu, they forbade, Aho, O Mahamate, O great soul, Na, not, Yujyate, is worthy for you, Atra, in the sacrificial arena, Anya, others, Vada, killing, Prachoditat, from being so directed in the scriptures. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please repeat. When the priests and all the others saw Prithu Maharaj very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, O great soul, do not kill him, for only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice. Such are the directions given by Shastra. Purport. Animal killing is intended for different purposes. It takes the proper pronunciation of Vedic mantras, and an animal being put it into the sacrifice fire should come out with a new life. No one should ever be killed in a sacrifice meant for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. How then could Indra be killed when he is actually worshipped in the yajna and accepted as part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Therefore, the priest requested King Prithu not to kill him. Text 28. I'll read the translation and purport. Text 28. Dear King, Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede the execution of your sacrifice. We shall call him by Vedic mantras, which were never before used, and certainly he will come. Thus, by the power of our mantras, we shall cast him into the fire, because he is your enemy. Purport. By chanting the Vedic mantras properly in a sacrifice, one can perform many wonderful things. In Kali Yuga, however, there are no qualified Brahmanas who can chant the mantra properly. Consequently, no attempt should be made to perform such big sacrifices. In this age, the only sacrifice recommended is Sankirtan movement. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna. So, we are continuing with the Prithu Maharaj pastimes. So, Prithu Maharaj was conducting 100th sacrifice, horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, and Indra was fearful that, okay, the Prithu Maharaj may take over his position as Indra. So, what he started creating disturbances to stop, to disturb the Yajna, and he is coming in a different, he is making many attempts coming in the form of sannyasi and trying to steal horse. So we are seeing that in the past few verses how it was happening. How now in this verse, and when 27, Indra got, when Prithu Maharaj got to know that this Indra is making so many attempts to disturb his horse sacrifice, he got very angry and he wanted to kill him. And then this translation, if you see 27, when the priests and all the others saw Maharaj Prithu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, "O great soul, do not kill him. For any sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice. Such are the directions given by Shastras." So, if you see that when people are performing yajna, what would be their consciousness? What would be their mindset? Right? So, if you see, when we read from Bhagavad Gita, right, ultimate aim of our sacrificing any yajna is to please Krishna, to please Supreme Lord. If you don't have any ulterior motive to perform in yajna, then what will be the consequences? First thing, in Kali Yuga, we cannot perform yajna. We don't have proper brahmanas to recite mantra, to pronounce mantra properly. As a result, we don't get the required benefits, whatever we are having the internal motivation for doing the yajna. Second thing, by chance, if you perform yajna and you got the result, what is the thing? It is not a bhakti. Again, you are doing for your own sense gratification, right? So, and it is temporary. So, as a result, our consciousness for while performing the yajna should be very much proper. It should be, and it is only our aim should be to please Krishna. That should be our aim to perform any sacrifice. And the next one, here it was mentioned, animal sacrifice. In the previous verses also we discussed few in the previous verses and the previous chapters, that animal sacrifice, performing animal sacrifice in the yajna, what would be the ultimate, like people may be thinking, okay, we are killing animal, but what is happening if the priest is performing mantras properly? What would be happening to that animal? Animal will be getting next body immediately. This is the testing the mantras, how properly the priest is chanting the mantra. That if the mantras are properly executed, the chanted and the yajna is properly executed, the animal will get new life. So that is one thing. If the animal is not, but what will happen to animal? Means, see, generally we have 8.4 million species, right? The soul will transmigrate from one body to another body. So by for sacrificing animal, horse into the yajna, and it is getting the new body, means that it has quickly got the new body, so it will have a chance to progress to get the human body quickly, compared to following the complete cycle of taking birth and death as per the natural process. By sacrificing horse, the horse will get a new body, and that way it will progress smoothly, quickly to get a new human body. That is one thing. And second thing, again, when we are talking about the consciousness of yajna, like if you see, Prithu Maharaj got very angry by seeing Indra making so many attempts to steal horse. But here, his anger was controlled by the priests. They said, in the yajna, we should not kill anyone else other than the prescribed animals which they wanted to sacrifice. Nothing should be killed in the sacrificial arena. That was as per Shastras. When the Brahmanas told to Prithu Maharaj, he was controlled, he was pacified, his anger was controlled. But if you see other instances in Srimad Bhagavatam where the anger was not controlled, the big damage happened. Any example? Any? Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. Hanuman. Yeah, but that is correct. But in Bhagavatam also, we have another instance. Yes, Hanuman is correct. He is controlling the anger. He directed in a right way. But here, it is opposite. Negative. I am asking the example in the negative sense. Because the anger was not controlled and the big damage happened. That is Daksha. If you all remember the pastime of Daksha, what happened? When Daksha entered into the fire sacrificial, that yajna arena, and everybody stood up, and Brahma, except Shiva, they didn't, so they were sitting. Brahma is the father, and Shiva was, since Shiva was not paying obeisances to Daksha, that triggered anger to Daksha. As a result, what happened? He started blaspheming Shiva. He was humiliating Shiva. Finally, he cursed Shiva, Lord Shiva. And then what happened? He thought, okay, he should not stay in this yajna area. And he left the yajna in between, and he went away. So later, all the Brahmanas, those who were staying there, they completed yajna. But this is the consequence. Like if you are in so one of our consciousness should be, what I am trying to say is our consciousness is important when we are performing yajna. Here, Prithu Maharaj, we see, he was a devotee. He is a Shaktyavesh avatar of Krishna, and he is a devotee. And when, as per the Shastra, we should not kill anyone, then he was pacified, his anger was controlled. But in the other side, Daksha, he was in a mode of ignorance, right? In the passion. Those are predominantly his nature. And then what was the consequences? Even though many Brahma and many other priests were saying that don't leave the yajna area, please stay and continue, but he didn't listen. And consequently, we saw in a subsequent chapters of Daksha how big damage happened. Not only that, even if you see the purport also, he was saying, nothing else should be killed in the fire sacrificial arena. Right? If you see the same Daksha pastime, so after this first part of Daksha yajna is completed, the next when he was doing other yajna, and second time Daksha, he did not invite Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, Sati. Then Sati got to know that his father was doing a big yajna and she wanted to attend, and she came. But here she saw that Daksha was not showing any respect. He was not offering any oblations to Lord Shiva in the yajna. Then she got very angry. As a result, what happened? She committed suicide in the same yajna area. And as a result, what happened? Shiva sent all other his army, and they came and they killed Daksha and many others. So if you see, like nothing should happen, nothing should be killed in the arena, yajna place. But if it is killed, we see the Daksha is another example where so much big damage happened, right? So this is what from this instruction, this purport in the Prabhupada was mentioning, and the translation, nothing should be killed in the yajna arena. And in the same way, the priests are giving the instructions to Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj was following their instructions. The difference between, so important point we should understand is doing the yajna with the right consciousness important. Otherwise, it will have a serious, if you go in a wrong consciousness, if you don't follow the scriptural injunctions properly, it will have a negative consequences. So that is one thing. And in the next verse, 28th verse, it was mentioned, dear king, the Indra's powers are already, now the sages are giving, since if they pacified Indra and Prithu Maharaj's anger, but they are suggesting alternate option, how they can give punishment to Indra. So in this 28th verse, it is translation if you read, dear king, dear king, they are addressing to Prithu Maharaj, Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede execution of your sacrifice. We shall call him by Vedic mantras, which were never before used, and certainly he will come. Thus, by the power of our mantras, we shall cast him into the fire because he is our enemy. So, the sages are giving alternate approach rather than killing directly. So, we will chant mantras. With that mantras, Indra will come and we will cast him into the fire. So that way you can take the revenge. But this is these priests, sages, priests in the yajna are planning. And in this purport, Prabhupada was mentioning that he was highlighting the purport. If Prabhupada was saying the Vedic mantras are, if we perform properly, those are very powerful. But in Kali Yuga, we cannot perform any such big sacrifices because the lack of brahmanas who can recite mantras properly, we cannot perform any sacrifice. And ultimate thing what is recommended in Kali Yuga is Sankirtan Yajna. So, if you see in the previous yugas, if you want to start any yajna, they don't lit the fire with any other matchbox or anything, right? They chant mantras, with the potency of mantras, they lit the fire in the yajna sacrifice. And similarly, if you see in the same Daksha's pastime, when first time when Shiva's associates came and they were trying to attack Daksha's Brahmanas, sages and everyone, what the Bhrugumuni chanted mantras, and with that mantras the powerful demigods Ribhus appeared and they started attacking the Shiva's army, right? So what we can understand is the potency of mantra. If you chant mantras properly, if the qualified brahmanas are there, it is very, very powerful, right? So, but in the current age, it is not practical. We don't have a proper brahmanas who can recite mantras. So, the only option is Sankirtan Yajna. And this reference, like in our Krishna conscious movement, we all know how important chanting the mantra. We all agree, we don't have any conflict in that. But when you see outside people will say, okay, you are chanting Krishna, I chant the name of Ganesh, or I chant the name of Durga, right? So there are people who will give various comments, right? Okay, you are chanting your God, I am chanting my God. That kind of perception people will have in outside world. But these are all not it's not our whimsically, as per our sentimentally we are chanting mantra. These details were mentioned in many places in our scriptures. So chanting the holy name is very much important. Today I would like to quote few of them, were references, right? In the 12th canto, 3rd chapter, 51st verse. Kalar dosha nide rajan asti hi eko mahaguna kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. The translation was saying, my dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and promoted to transcendental kingdom. So, it is what's mentioning, this Kali Yuga is full of faults. Like if you see in the current age, Prabhupada recommended at 16 rounds of chanting 4 regulative principles. But the outside world, everyone is completely breaking 4 regulative principles. If you see meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, these are predominantly happening all over. In fact, if you see some of the country's economy growing with these activities, killing the animals, meat export, intoxication like drugs, liquor, the economy is growing based on these the prohibited activities, and gambling. So we see so many casinos and everything, right? So the country's economy is running by breaking these 4 regulative principles. You can understand what is the consequence of the money. If the government using such money for the people giving, then obviously you will have all the reactions. So what we can understand is by doing such activities, if you use that money, we'll get the reaction. So with our sinful activities are increasing. That's why it is, but Kali Yuga is ocean of faults. Like how big is the ocean? We cannot imagine, right? That kind of faults people in Kali Yuga are doing. But what is the ultimate, though we don't need to worry, the Bhagavatam is saying, Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. So by doing the Kirtan of Hari Kirtan, Mukta Sangha Param Rajet. We will come out of this material bondage and we will go back to spiritual world. But we should not misuse it, right? One thing, we do chanting and go outside and do wrong things. That is not recommended. Though people are doing so many bad things, but our conscience should be proper and we should chant the holy name. That way we can come out of this material bondage. And the next one also, this is another verse we heard many times. Kritayad dhyayato Vishnu tetayam yajato makam dvapare paricharyayam kalautad harikirtanam. So, in our previous yugas, before Kali Yuga, we have Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. In each of the Yuga, to realize God, to go back to Godhead, what were the ultimate, different options were used. In Treta Yuga, it is meditation. In Satya Yuga, it was meditation. In Treta Yuga, it is performing fire sacrifice. And in Dwapara Yuga, it was deity worship. But in Kali Yuga, what is recommended? Kalautad Hari Kirtanam. Only Kirtan, Hari Kirtan, chanting the holy name of Lord is the only ultimate shelter. So this is what we can understand. So there are, like this, we have many references where we can understand that chanting the holy name is important. And in Kali Santrana Upanishad, right, we have Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti soda saksham nam Kali Kalmasha Nasanam, Natta Parataram Nane Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. So this here it is, Narada Muni was asking Brahma, right? So in this the Brahma was saying that I read all the Vedas, there is no other way, only chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is clearly mentioned, Hare Krishna. Why we have to chant Hare Krishna? This Upanishad is clearly mentioned that we need to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that is the only way. Brahma is saying that Brahma is knows all the Vedas. I read all the Vedas, no way, nothing other. This is the only solution available, chanting the Hari's name, holy name. So this is another reference. And in 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it was mentioned, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasa. So the intelligent person in the Kali Yuga, they chant Hari Kirtan, chanting the holy name. Right? So that is also, it is mentioned. And the final conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is mentioned same thing. Right? Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashinam Pranamo Dukkha Samanas Tam Namami Harim Param. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashinam. By chanting the holy name, Sarva Papa, all our sins will be destroyed. By chanting the holy name of Krishna, everything, all our sins will be destroyed. This is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, the final verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is also recommended. So we reason all the cantos, Srimad Bhagavatam, from first to all the last canto and all the chapters. But what it should develop, if we hear sincerely, if we listen Srimad Bhagavatam attentively, it should develop the taste for chanting the holy name. So that is the ultimate aim of listening the Krishna Katha. And when you develop the taste for chanting, when you do chanting, we see all the references, that is the ultimate shelter. Taking the shelter of holy name, serving the holy name is the ultimate aim of our life. So these are all the various references related to chanting the holy name, like in line to our Prabhupada mentioned in this purpose. And there are some other references, not the verses, but if you see in general, our perception is like, if any eclipse is happening, like the lunar eclipse or solar eclipse is happening, then what generally people do? They don't consider it as an auspicious thing. It is like inauspicious. Some people, they don't eat anything during the eclipse time. And after eclipse is completed, then they take bath and they do all the cleaning, everything, right? So these are some of the sentiments people will follow. And but in contrast, what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on which day? It's the lunar eclipse day. Even though it is general public, it is people feel that it is inauspicious. But what people are doing, since it is a lunar eclipse, people are chanting the holy name, and people are chanting the holy name, taking the holy dip in the Ganges, And then some people, like the Muslims were, other community, they are hating, oh, you are chanting Hare Krishna. They also sarcastically, they are chanting that, imitating these people Hare Krishna. Like that, everyone is chanting the holy name, knowingly or unknowingly. And that, it became more auspicious. That is the time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chosen to appear on this earth planet. Though we, in the material context, it was an inauspicious thing. Since everybody is chanting the holy name, it is became auspicious. That was the auspicious time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Even our Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Swami Maharaj was explaining same thing, one of his Gauna Purnima lectures. Like, in general, our perception is, will you do any Gruha Pravesha on lunar eclipse day, when lunar eclipse is happening? In general, common public, we don't do any housewarming ceremony or any auspicious thing. If you do marriage of any in your house when the lunar eclipse is happening, no. And we cannot do any other auspicious activities. We feel it is not it is inauspicious time. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared only that time because people were chanting holy name, chanting the holy name. The inauspicious moment became auspicious. So that is the potency of chanting the holy name. And same way, when Srila Prabhupada, when his sannyasa ceremony was happening, the priests are doing the Vedic mantras, they are reciting. And one of the Prabhupada's godbrother was reciting Hare Krishna mantra. And then somebody was telling, chant the Hare Krishna mantra slowly, so because Vedic mantras are not, they are not able to listen. Then Prabhupada told, no, chant the mantra, chanting the holy name properly, that is important. Because though Prabhupada, even when Prabhupada was inaugurating Vrindavan temple, Krishna Balaram temple, that time also, in order to make local people happy so that they can come to the temple, he performed all the rituals, yajnas, inviting Brahmanas. But Prabhupada was telling that chanting the holy name is enough. That is enough. That will fulfill all the requirements of Prana Pratishtha and everything. Right? So Prabhupada, if you see Prabhupada example, or if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance, we see by chanting the holy name is becoming, that makes everything auspicious. We don't need anything else. But we should have a strong conviction, strong faith. And if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kolavecha Sridhar pastime, right? He was a very poor Brahmana. His house is having all the holes on the roof. And his dress, the dhoti is completely damaged. And he doesn't have anything to eat. Pot is water, the pot which he used to drink the water, it is completely broken. So such is the condition of his poverty, like the materially. But what he was doing every day night, he used to chant the holy name. And the people surrounding, they used to think, okay, this guy doesn't have any money, and that he doesn't have anything to eat, that's why he's shouting like this. But that was not his mood. What he was, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to come to him and buy the fruits. And he used to pay only half of the money. And what he used to say, no, you are very rich, you are very rich, you don't need this much money. But what is the meaning of richness? Then even Kolavecha Sridharan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, right? So having money, material money, that is not important. Having the devotion to Krishna, chanting the holy name, that makes you rich. Not earning. Yes, materially we may have some money, but actual richness is when you chant the holy name continuously, that will make you rich, not this material wealth. So that was the conclusion we can see from the Kolavecha Sridhar pastime. And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentioned, like Vibhavari Shesha, right? In that bhajan, it said, Nama Sudha Rasa Gavo Krishna Yasa Rako Vachana Manamore. He was instructing mind, recite chanting the holy name of Krishna, glorify Krishna, he's informing our mind to please focus on the Krishna's holy name. Right? That is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, when he was having all the disciples writing so many literature or so many scripts, anything, when the people used to come to him to review their writing on the transcendental literature. So Bhaktivedanta Saraswati used to use only one criteria. How many times they referred Krishna and Chaitanya? The more you refer, that is the writing is proper. So he was using to go with that assessment, how many times they've written Krishna and Gauranga. So so if you write more number of times, that writing is proper. So that was how the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So if you see examples how all our acharyas are, scriptural references we have seen, now all our acharyas, how they are emphasizing on chanting of the holy name. And one more example I heard in one of the lectures. In Scotland, there was a gaming company. They used to develop all the games, and people will come and play the games. And one boy, they developed one gaming company developed one game which is not favorable to our Hare Krishna. It is completely opposite to Hare Krishna movement. But they developed the game. The people will be going on a Nama Sankirtan in the town, and this guy, the car will come and it will hit. And the devotees will chant, obviously, Gauranga. They used to chant. So, if if you hit more and more people, the person will get more and more points in the game, so that he will be winning. This kind of game, it was designed in Scotland. And then, the one boy was playing this game. And he used to come with his friends. He used to go drive the car in the game. And he used to hit the devotees. And as soon as they used to Gauranga, these kids also chant Gauranga. But they don't know what is the meaning of Gauranga. But like that, he used to get more and more points. He used to win. Later, that was when he was a very child. Later, he migrated to Australia, New Zealand from Scotland on his work for education and studies and work. And he wanted to some nice prasadam, so night food, vegetarian food. So he went to the temple, one of the Hare Krishna temple. And then when he was having prasadam, he was listening that Nitai Gauranga, the bhajan. Then he was connecting. Oh, I heard this in the game. Then they realized, then he spoke to devotees. And he tried to understand what is Nityan Gauranga, what is Nitai Gauranga. And then he understood the philosophy. Finally, he became a devotee, he stayed in the temple. So, and later, the gaming company also came and they apologized Hare Krishnas, and then they corrected, they made a nice. So, this is what, even if you chant the holy name without your knowledge, it will have a proper effect. That's why the reason in the 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 14th verse, it says the same thing. Sanketyam parihasam va, stobam helanam eva va, vaikunta matanama grahanam, ashesha aga haram vibhu. This is the verse in the 6th canto. What does that mean? Sanketyam, if you do secretly, and parihasam, if you say jokingly, or stobam means a musical entertainment, and helanam, neglectfully, sarcastically, right? If whatever way you do, if you now do chant the holy name, ashesha aga haram vibhu, all the sins will be destroyed. That is the kind of Srimad Bhagavatam is saying. So, and we could see that example, the gaming. We could say, so finally, the boy landed in Krishna's shelter, because knowingly or unknowingly, he chanted the holy name. So, this is what we can understand. The Nama Sankirtanam is important. Chanting the holy name is very much important. We don't need to do any other sacrifices, anything, because we don't have a required qualification or eligibility to perform. So, I will conclude here. Any comments, any questions? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so because if you want to go to the temple, but your mind is telling that you may commit so many mistakes, so rather than going and committing mistakes, how should I control my mind so that I can go and do the service, right? That's see. So we in a current material world, like Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that Mandas Matanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrita. Our mind is completely dull-headed and lazy. If you try to become perfect, you will never achieve. right? That is the, so only option is, even though your mind is telling, you come, you chant, like if you see the example, the verse I mentioned, 6th canto, right? Even if you chant with secretly or sarcastically, neglectfully, you will have all the mantra's potency remains there. So you start with that mantra, fix your mind, right? Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur also saying, right? He was saying that, right? Chant the holy name, make your mind to chant the holy name. So you train your mind, you be determined. First thing we need to have, whatever the mind is telling so many, it's a maya, is capturing. Your mind will tell so many reasons, but you should be determined. Don't worry about the consequences of offenses and everything. You try to be sincere and do chanting. That way, gradually, you will progress. You may not get the result immediately, but the time will come where you will be able to overcome all these disturbances. Yes, Prabhu. So which ones are Indra's point you are saying, or animals you are saying? Yeah. So see like the sacrifice, as part of the sacrifice, animal like the Ashwamedha Yajna is there, right? Animal sacrifice is allowed, but other than prescribed things, rituals, but you should not kill anyone else. Like even Prithu Maharaj was trying to kill Indra in the sacrificial arena, right? That you should not kill. Like that's why I quoted the example. Mother Sati committed suicide, and consequences. But you can perform this horse sacrifice in the yajna, because that yajna prescribed with that is what required in the yajna. But again, this people were started misusing this kind of yajnas to fulfill their tongue taste, right? On the name of yajnas, people were killing animals, and just on the name of yajna they are eating. So, but that is condemned. That is not allowed. The only thing is, it is mentioned, if you are chanting the mantra properly, that will give the next birth to the animal. If you don't chant properly, if the animal is not done, you will have a consequence. The person who is priest reciting the mantras, he will have negative significance. So that is there in the Shastras. So it's Ashwamedha Yajna means you have to offer a horse into the yajna. But other than that, you should not do any other stuff. You should not kill any other things. That's what Shastras are mentioning. Okay, but again, that was the cast in the mantra. See, I think in the subsequent verses, it was Brahma will come and explain, okay, you should not do kill. But see, they are giving that option, but finally that didn't happen. Yeah, it's a contradicting. See, with the mantras, as part of the yajna, you will do, but not side separately. That's how we can understand. I can understand. See, as part of the yajna's offerings, you can do. You have allowed to kill the animals and all, offer it, but not separately. Here, if you need to understand the difference, Prithu Maharaj try to kill Indra in anger because he is stealing. But he is not offering him as a oblation in the yajna fire sacrifice, right? That is allowed. Anything you do as according to that fire sacrifice, you do. But the killing separately, that is not. Prithu Maharaj trying to kill Indra directly, not offering. But whereas Brahmanas, they were trying to offer him in the yajna. That is the difference. Hope that makes sense. Yes, Mataji. In Kali Yuga, it is not possible. That much I can tell. Because but in that yuga, previous yugas, that was practical, that was possible. But that's what our mind may not be able to imagine that. But because in the Kali Yuga, it is not practical, we think in terms of Kali Yuga perspective. But in previous yugas, that was possible. But that's why Prabhupada was always telling, these yajnas are not allowed to, we are not supposed to do these such big yajnas. We don't have any qualification. It's Shamahevahi Kevalam, Srimad Bhagavatam says, right? So that's yeah. Okay. Yeah. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.